Yo, what's up, YouTube? Edwin the Comic Jabroni coming at you. This is episode 3 of What the Heck Is. And today we're going to be talking about Mark Jewell variants. Do you know what a Mark Jewell variant is? And have you found one in the wild? To answer these questions, you're just going to have to stick around. Alright guys, welcome back. So, like I said, Edwin the Comic Jabroni, this is episode 3 of a new series that I created called What the Heck Is. And in these videos, we will be discussing different variants. In the first episode, we went over DC Universe logo variants. Then after that, we went into newsstand versus direct and what the differences were and when they came out and where you would see them. But I needed to do that episode before we went into Mark Jewell variants. To the naked eye, this looks like a regular copy of Incredible Hulk 347, first appearance of Joe Fixit. But upon closer inspection, we will see that this is actually a variant. Newsstand, but a Mark Jewell as well. So, what the heck is a Mark Jewell variant? What makes a comic book a Mark Jewell variant? A Mark Jewell comic variant is a 4-page advertisement placed into the middle of a comic book, as you can see here. It was 4 pages of an advertisement added into the centerfold of comics, ranging from 1972, August of 1972, all the way up into the late 80s. A lot of what I've seen online says 1986, but right here I have a copy of Incredible Hulk 347, which is from 1988. So, in the 80s, they were all going to be in newsstands. Anything before that, you will find them in newsstands, but you might find them in comics that don't have a newsstand barcode, and we'll go over that a little later on in the video. You could find these in both Marvel Comics and in DC Comics. And as you can tell from both of these, they both have the newsstand barcode on the bottom. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, Edwin, why are these so special? Why should I go out there and go find these? And like I talked about in the newsstand, like I talked about in the DC Universe logo variants, is the print run on these were incredibly low. Anytime you're collecting for your personal collection and you want to add some value to your personal collection, you're always talking to yourself about a print run on a comic being especially low. And if it's a key comic book, you would hope that it is a lower print run than, say, something like X-Men, which is hitting over 100 to 200,000 comics. So with the Mark Jewellers, we're talking about 5% of that comic book run that actually had a Mark Jewell. So where did we find these back in the 70s and 80s? Well, these were found on military installations back in the 70s and 80s and were sold at the exchanges. So for anybody that doesn't know what an exchange is, that is either a post exchange or a base exchange, whether you were on a Air Force or naval base or a army post, right? Or a fort. They were sold at exchanges, and exchange is really like the Walmart of a military installation, right? You can go on there to buy anything that you really needed as far as clothes or comic books, video games, movies, TVs. They had stuff to fix your car up. They had everything on an exchange, and you can still find them on military bases today. So I've read online that they were found close to military exchanges, but from the service members that I've talked to that were around in the 70s and 80s that collected comics, they found them on the post or on the base, not around the base. They were on the post because these Mark Jewell variants were trying to push to the service member, hey, there's some jewelry that you can buy for your loved one, you can buy for yourself, buy for your significant other, your husband, your wife, whatever it was. And if you read inside on one of these, it actually says Mark Jewell's 30 years service to military personnel. So there are quite a few different Mark Jewell inserts. There were about 30 of them. And down in the description below, I'm actually going to post a link of a website that actually has all 30 of them posted. There are different types, but remember, it's just going to be a 4-page insert advertisement into the comic books, and you're going to be able to tell the difference when you read your comic. Obviously, the pages are going to feel differently, right? You're going to go from a comic book to this nice glossy insert, and you're going to think to yourself, what the hell is this? I don't want to buy jewelry, but there it is. That's a Mark Jewell insert. So where can we find these Mark Jewell inserts now? Because they do not sell them in the exchanges anymore. The best way to find them obviously is going to be on eBay. You can go on eBay and search depending on if you want a Batman or if you want Avengers, whatever it is. Put Batman, Detective Comics, doesn't matter, and then Mark Jewell, right? Don't put variant, just put Mark Jewell, or you can misspell the jeweler, put that in, and you might be able to find one a little bit cheaper that way. Another way to find it is if you're going through the comics, right? Obviously, you're going to see it from the top down on the bottom. You're actually going to, and I'm going to post a picture of this because it's hard to show you on the video, but you're going to be able to see a black line on the very top edge of the comic, which indicates that there is something different in the comic than just the comic itself. Now, you have to be careful with that because there are some comics from the 70s and 80s that had different advertisements in it, and it might not be this Mark Jewell. So the way to tell that is if there is several copies of one comic book that have that black line or that advertisement in each one, then it's probably not a Mark Jewell advertisement. It could be an advertisement for Atari, for Nintendo, for a Snickers or a candy bar or something like that. So you got to be careful with that. Again, why do we want to know this? Is because these Mark Jewell variants can go for anywhere between 20 to 30% more than what a regular comic is going for. My advice to you is to search for the keys. Unless you're a completionist and you want every single Amazing Spider-Man copy out there, as far as newsstands, directs, Mark Jewell, whatever it is, I would search for keys. So right here, like I said, this is first appearance of Joe Fixit in Incredible Hulk 347, which is a Mark Jewell variant, a good one to have. This right here, New Teen Titans, issue number 10, is the second appearance of Deathstroke, and it has a Mark Jewell variant inside. Now remember, like I said, 99% of these are going to be found in newsstands. So if it has a direct edition logo like the Spider-Man face or anything other than the newsstand, steer clear of that. Those are not going to have the Mark Jewell. But I'm going to show you one that doesn't have a newsstand barcode, but it is a Mark Jewell. So this right here is my copy of Batman 251 CGC slabbed at a 5.5. This copy right here is a Mark Jewell variant, and it says it right at the top, Mark Jewell variant inserted. I think that's what Mark Jewell's insert. So this is from September of 1973, very early on from when I told you these started in 1972. In this era of comic books, there were no newsstand barcodes on the books, but there were still Mark Jewell inserts. So this is a very good book to have, right? Like I told you, look for keys if you want these Mark Jewell variants, and try to find them at the same price as what the regular book goes for. Unless it's a book that you really want, you could spend the 10 to 20% more on the comic, but I would stick to the fair grade value, or however, the FMV, fair market value of the book. Stick to that. So guys, that was a quick overview on Mark Jewell variants, or as Comic Tom likes to say, it is the original variant, and that is kind of what they designated it as back in the day. It was a variant of a regular comic book, Mark Jewell's. I'm going to show you one more time what they look like. If I were you, I would definitely go to the link down in the description below and go take a look at what they all look like, guys. It's fun to add these variants into your personal collection when you're out there at the comic shop and you're just kind of flipping through, and you might actually see 2 or 3 comics, but one of them has the line, there's something weird about this book, huh? I want to take a look. A lot of comic shops don't add anything extra as far as value to the book, so you might be able to buy that book at the same price as the other one. So I would do that. I would pick these up, especially if you can find them in a 8.0 to a 9, 9.8. Definitely pick that book up. It is going to be worth more money. So let me know, have you guys found any Mark Jewell variants out in the wild, or do you have any in your personal collection? Right now, you saw all 3 of mine. I used to have a couple more, but I've traded them off for bigger books, bigger keys in my collection. That's a good thing about these. There are niche collectors out there that want them more than probably you do. So guys, that was Mark Jewell's. In the next episode, we're going to go over recalled and misprinted variants or comic books. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, think about hitting that subscribe button, checking out more of my content. Let me know, what kind of variants do you want to see me discuss next? So until next time, Edwin the Comic Jabroni, be the best version of yourself that you can be. Take it easy. Peace.